Please do not harass or attempt to intimidate any of the people mentioned in this video. Sprocket commentaries are intended as critiques of situations or behaviors based on the information available. They are meant to showcase previously unexplored perspectives, demonstrate wrongdoings, point out contradictions and misinformation, or dispel false narratives so that others may come to an informed opinion. Under no circumstances is targeted harassment appropriate or encouraged. As an additional note, while this video discusses legalities, please remember that we are not lawyers, and thus this video is an exploration of a situation based on what we personally understand or were able to find out. Don't take it as solid legal advice. Welcome to part 3, my pretty little cutie pies. I'm here with DarknessStone, who's gonna help me go through a particularly long and garbage fire-esque interview between Madame, now known as Princess Ash, and we will be referring to her as such because it's more consistent for newcomers, and someone a few of you might remember from a 2-part co-op I just recently-ish finished up with Nezzy Monster.
Yeah, before you guys ask, Ponder took away my death note. She said it was too dangerous. But we are back to the video. Please make sure to check out the previous parts to make sure you do not get lost.
With that being said, and hopefully with everyone caught up, please welcome to the stage Princess Ash and Akumu. Akumu's not a princess, by the way. It just sort of sounds like that.
She's going to get a PayPal next year and go to college, and she never specified why she couldn't get paid. I just thought maybe she was a late bloomer because, you know, I'm a late bloomer. I didn't really get my license like right when I turned 16. Like I was kind of late for that. So I kind of get it, and I didn't really want to like, you know, bring that up or be awkward about it. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, okay, you know, whatever. And she would always talk about like going to college and how excited she was for it. So we were just under the impression she was around our age. She never insinuated like that she was a child. She always tried to act like an adult around me and my friends. So it was just really weird.
Again, Ash saying that Slumers just gave the impression that she was older, not that she ever expressly stated that she was a college student or that she was 18, just that they got that impression, which is not the same thing as Slumers lying about her age, which is what Ash claimed that she did initially.
I had so many problems seeing through Kumu's own video on the subject, because it had so many issues. But I'm going to keep it at that for what I think about the guy.
Oh yeah, and guys, some of you may recognize the voice of the interviewer. If you saw my last video, yeah, it's Akumu. That's where Akumu comes in. As in, the guy who made an entire video trying to claim that Summers was the one in the wrong because of things he assumed, and had absolutely no evidence for outside of Ash's word on the matter, and where he blatantly mixed up intellectual artistic copyright with trademarks and patents, so that he could claim that Summers doesn't own her own artwork. That guy.
If it's possible after this recording, so there's some credibility to it, because I already know with how things are going, not everyone's going to listen. Do you have any possible screenshots or past messages that can...
I didn't delete them out of Discord. I mean, like, I don't delete any messages. What kind of screenshots?
Screenshots like providing or like her insinuating she's an adult. Anything like that?
I
Right
would
now I
have to go
evidence.
through all of them. You have evidence of
Okay.
what?
Well, if you can, when you're free, that would be great to go with the interview. Because right now I have evidence that she didn't tell you her age, but she told you about her
She did
sexual
not.
assault.
Shocking, Akumu. You have evidence that someone didn't say a thing? Really? When you apparently don't have the entire conversation available to you, as you've effectively already made note? You must be psychic or something to have proof of a negative.
And if you have proof of anything, why isn't it shown? It makes no sense. And Ash says she doesn't delete her messages. Oh, Ash, I know you don't.
What do you mean?
Oh, you will see, Ponder.
Yeah, and the sexual assault thing was strange. I have talked to other like victims because I had some friends that were like, yeah, that is weird. Well, I did have a friend approach me and say, you know, they at first were siding with her, like, isn't that kind of fucked up? And I was like, nah, dude, like I've been sexually assaulted too, and she did it in under 5 minutes. I am not exaggerating that. No one. This is kind of how it went, and it sounds crazy, but it's like, hey, I'm like a really big fan of your channel, whatever. And I'm like, oh my god, hi, it's nice to finally get in a call with you. You know, we greeting each other, and then she's like, oh, by the way, I was raped. It was just very sudden and like abrupt.
I could understand
and
your
it was just like
skepticism and suspicious about it. I was very suspicious about it until it was confirmed by James, but James also confirmed that she told him that you initially first fixed the credit, and that's where all the YouTubers are not they're not pointing that out, that you first fixed the credit, and he didn't point that out either in his video, yet she told him that.
Weird that you apparently had the sexual assault confirmed to you by James, but continued to be skeptical about it in your video, claiming that Slumers was the one in the wrong. Specifically, you were skeptical that she would reveal something like that, but not her age, allegedly. Now you're stating that it was confirmed. Doesn't that mean that Ash is still in the wrong for publicly broadcasting someone's private matters onto an open platform as a means of discrediting that individual? Especially when Ash has, as we discussed in the last video, stated that private issues don't need to be publicly broadcast, only for her to then broadcast someone else's private issues. Yet this interview is glossing over that blatant contradiction. It'll happen more as we go forward, but as this sexual assault is brought up, despite Akumu now admitting that he had it confirmed to him, Ash just gets to continue on with the narrative of, oh, it was weird that she revealed it to me, as if that justifies her publicly broadcasting it and claiming that Slumers lied about it when she had no proof of this.
I also have a hard time believing she acted the way you are stating, with your own track record about lying about someone to paint them in a negative light. With the way you are presenting it, it's making it look like she doesn't care about telling people, which I doubt is the case.
Another thing to take into consideration is that Ash's claims for what Slumers said and how it was brought up cannot be verified. This all happened in a call which wasn't recorded, according to her. Slumers has provided evidence that showcases her side. Ash has only provided snippets of that same evidence which actually contradicts a bunch of her claims. Everything that is not contradicted by the evidence Slumers provided are things that cannot be verified at all, and we're, what, expected to take Ash at her word, I guess? A little bad, considering Akumu acknowledged right here that he was suspicious of Slumers' claims regarding a sexual assault, and he had to see evidence for it. So something super personal like an assault, which was only shared with Ash and was not meant to be broadcast publicly, forcing Slumers to effectively prove the claim is fine, but things like, she never told me her age, we can just believe at face value with no evidence, huh? Despite it being a key point of Ash's entire defense. And yes, I'm saying no evidence because according to Slumers, the age stipulation was in a call, and Akumu can't have evidence of a negative. And yes, I am saying no evidence because according to Slumers, the age stipulation was in a call, and Akumu can't have evidence of a negative. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Ah!
Ponder, are you okay?
You can't prove a negative by saying this thing that there's no record of and I wasn't even there for happened this way and not this way.
Ponder, it's okay. We'll get through this.
I need donuts!
How many? I'm warming up my car. Want some Dunkin'?
Whew.
I don't
So,
know all
honestly,
these people. I've
everyone else is
never
a part
watched
of
a
playing the
video
game.
about it. So if you could just solely ask me questions about it, because I have no idea who's who's that. Like I don't know. I've literally been traveling for like a week.
James
I don't
is the
know
guy,
any of these
the
people.
15-year-old that you apparently threatened to sue. That is coming
I
from
have
his side.
no
I don't know
idea
about
who
yours.
that is. So like if you could just keep questions like I'm getting
Yeah,
confused
okay.
and I'm hungover, so that's not good.
Good to see you're taking this seriously, hon.
I feel the need to draw attention to not only the claim that Ash is unaware of the videos on her and that she hasn't watched them, but also the want for Akumu only to ask her questions about the situation. She's asking that he not take in other sides or other considerations, effectively just that he only turns to her for what happened in the situation, despite her not being able to provide evidence for most of what she says. On top of that, yeah, a good chunk of the things that Ash brings up in this interview are going to be things that she would have gathered from the videos done on her. I mean, I suppose it's possible that someone could have watched them and summarized it to her, or that she's getting the notion from reading comments. But as I said in my own video on the situation, that means that Ash is actively not looking into what other people allegedly say about her, and is expressly only going off of secondhand information provided to her. So if we go by what she's saying here, she's fumbling around in the dark, unaware of most of the issues had with her, and is actively choosing to not see what those arguments or issues are, which seems a little counterproductive given the intent of this interview and her earlier claim that she just wanted to clear up people's misunderstandings from these fabrications.
Her refusing to watch the videos on her also raises my own suspicion. Like, if people were making videos on me, I would want to know what I did to fuck up so bad and how I could possibly fix it. But we have already discussed that Ash is not the shiniest pan in the dish drainer.
Alright, I'll go back.
Yeah, I don't know like anyone you're talking about besides the Claire.
So, was there anything else that was maybe other alarms besides? I watched your video and you mentioned that she was obsessed with cancel culture.
She
I
was.
have a screenshot that proves that she was sending hate to you. Claire or Slumers?
No, he doesn't. For anyone who hasn't seen my video with Nezzy on Akumu's video on Slimmers, the screenshot he's talking about was a snippet of one of Slimmers' Instagram stories, except Nezzy and I were able to suss out the timeline for when that Instagram story was posted. Akumu insinuated that the Instagram story was the reason Ash doxed Slimmers because Slimmers incited people to attack Ash with that Instagram post. But not only could that have not been the case because the Instagram story snippet couldn't have happened until hours after the dox, the snippet itself doesn't even say to go and attack Ash. I could totally see how it might look like that to someone, but,
If you have evidence, show it! In the screenshots that I have seen on the Instagram story Ponder is talking about, it specifically says harassing Ash wouldn't do anything. With that wording, Slimmers is saying not to attack Ash. I'm pretty sure a child would understand that.
Now, to be fair, it could also be read as we have to attack her because while it might not work, there's nothing else we can do. But that's the problem. The screenshot can be read two different ways. One indicating that harassing a person isn't okay, and one indicating that it's potentially the best course of action. But we're going off of Akumu's current claim paired with the claim he made in his own video. Akumu only looks at one way when it could be read two different ways, or potentially more. And he's convinced it gives a reason for Ash to have doxed Slimmers, or tried to, when the story snippet couldn't have existed when the dox actually happened. Now, again, to be fair, Ash's Instagram story inciting harassment of Slimmers also did not directly say, go harass this person. Though it did provide a direct means by which one could do that, and directly stated that the artist in question was a liar, and that had done so publicly, which would indicate to people that Slimmers was trying to start shit, which is contrasted by Slimmers' Instagram story since Ash actively was sending people to harass Slimmers at this point. So if you're gonna make the claim from your video on Slimmers, also I'm sorry if I'm harping on this too much, Stone.
Do I have to get Mr. Fluffins involved? But seriously, go ahead. I had the stranded thing.
That the reason for Ash attempting to dox Slimmers was because Slimmers was sending people to harass Ash, a claim that you are actually wrong about because you don't have the right time frame, then isn't Slimmers' Instagram story therein more reasonable, knowing that it was in response to direct targeted harassment from Ash's attempted dox? And even if someone tries to make the claim, oh, but because Slimmers vented about the situation and then put up a call out on Ash, wasn't she doing the same thing? And the answer to that is still no, because Ash's YouTube channel isn't a means of getting into contact with her in person like a phone number is.
Yeah, pretty much what happened. Wait, what did you ask again? Sorry, I'm like all hungover. Are you talking about like the topic of hate, like her sending hate to me? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, because you said that in your video she talked about it and she seemed to be fascinated with it.
Oh yeah, cancel culture. My bad. Shit, I'm really out of it for being sober. Sorry about that. Yeah, it was really strange. It was just something she liked to talk about. We would get in these like really long calls, and she would do most of the talking. I was just kind of chilling there. And she loved talking about Slazo in particular, and she would always kind of like. What is like the best way to articulate this? I guess like compare the Slazo situation with her real life and at her apparent like sexual assault. That's besides the point. Like she loved the Slazo situation. It fascinated her. And when she would talk about it, and by the way, my friend was also in a voice chat with her and kind of like confirmed this. She sounded really excited talking about it. So she would be like, isn't it cool that you could ruin someone's reputation with the words? Like that's literally how she said it. And it was really weird. But like it's only weird looking back on it because in the moment, like me and my friend were just like, yeah, that's
Was this the same friend that
crazy.
I'm afraid to ask.
You shouldn't be. You know what this laugh means.
Ash left herself open to a massive contradiction?
Oh, most certainly. I have Ash's and Slimmer's full conversation.
Ooh, deets. Let me read while you dish the dirt.
First of all, Ash claims that she got into these long calls with Slimmers, which in their Discord log, they only got into 2 calls. One initiated by Ash, and one initiated by Slimmers.
Fucking, why would you say that if the paper sign? Oh god, this is dumb. Sorry, I'm still reading. Sorry.
Don't worry, Octomama, we'll get there. So these calls she's claiming could only happen in her Discord servers in VC, which is alluded to once or twice in the text logs. However, that doesn't prove her being in calls with her for hours. Secondly, in the text logs, there was no mention of sexual assault in the slightest. I know you said it was mentioned in the call, but while you were on a call with Slimmers, you were posting pictures and memes. I would imagine it would have been alluded to at some point. It's always best to check. Thirdly, Ash stated she was just sitting there during most of the calls, with Slimmers doing most of the talking. However, in the chats we have, during her calls with Slimmers, we see that Ash is the one sending a hell of a lot of pictures, memes, and messages, showing that she was the most active out of the two.
Wait, isn't that porn?
Not yet, Ponder. Spoilers. Fourthly, throughout the whole conversation, I have not seen one mention of the Slazo situation. The closest thing she did was mention the Pro-Jared situation in a passing at the beginning of the conversation. Never once was there a picture or word referencing the Slazo situation. Even if it was stated in the call, we can see that Ash is known for sending pictures while she is in chat. If they were talking about it, I would imagine it would be coming up in some way.
Granted, we are leaving some room that it could have been brought up in some way and just no pictures were sent for that portion of the conversation. Weird given what we've seen, but completely not impossible.
Again, it could have been in a VC in a server, but there was no proof of that. Let alone, they say she mentions it so much. I would say that if Slimmers mentioned it so much, there would be something somewhere. Slimmers did say she mentioned Alakakua situation because she was upset by it, because Night in the Woods is one of her favorite games, and it is one of mine as well. I understood her anger and sadness because I also felt it. Ash is also constantly pulling up the "with words" comment, and the more and more she does it, the more and more I doubt it happening. It's almost like it's a mockery of Slimmers, like what she did with the 4 or 5 screenshots she posted in the interview. With all this being said, and with all the evidence I have, how am I supposed to take Ash or any of her claims seriously in the situation I have found myself in? Ash also states her friend can confirm it for her, but if he is Ash's friend, and if he's anything like Ash, we might have a hard time taking it seriously. That's how far Ash's words have fallen at this point. Have you finished reading, Ponder?
I don't like any of this. I'm getting squicky feelings. Also, side note, Ash brings up Slazo here. Didn't Ash call Slazo a rapist and then delete the video once everything was proven to either be false or taken out of context as a means of discrediting him?
Yep, because Ponder found an archive of the video.
Telling her that he had urges to rape her and that he thinks it's fucked up, but like, what would you do if I raped you and stuff like that. I mean, it was just really manipulative, and I think that the only reason he didn't necessarily rape her that day that he was asking her those questions is because he didn't have the balls to, and he was testing his boundaries with her to see if he can rape her and get away with it, which he did. He sexually assaulted her multiple times.
I don't know if you really get to talk on Slimmers' alleged obsession with cancel culture with regards to the Slazo situation, Ash, especially considering you directly contributed to spreading it. No self-awareness, I fucking swear.
That's
Was this the same friend that
crazy.
commented on the video? With the he said the
Her
same
name is
thing?
Trigga.
Oh, okay.
Trigga is my good friend and an admin of mine for my Discord server, and he was I think the only person that we went in a voice chat with, unless I forgot. I do have a shitty memory, unless like I'm talking about stuff that's like very recent. Or it's like with emotion. I remember things better if there's emotion attached to it, so
Providing yet another reason for us to not take your word at face value, I see. Tell me, Ash, if you have such a shitty memory that you can't recall whether other friends were a part of these calls, and this was during the Slimmers situation, wouldn't that mean that the Slimmers situation as a whole was far enough gone by the time of this interview that your memory of it was unreliable? If you couldn't accurately remember this part of the situation, why should we assume that you were able to accurately remember all other facets of it? Such as all of the things you are expressly stating based on your own word and which have no screenshots to back it up.
That's what we call a lack of evidence and raw ignorance.
That's not even just a lack of evidence. Ash was effectively destroying her status as a credible witness by doing this. I mean, it's not like she hadn't done that already, but this was just further compounding it.
But Shriga, she could have been in a voice chat with someone else as well. I don't really remember, but I do know it's Shriga because Shriga made those comments. Like in my story, he was the one that DM'd me that she didn't carry herself very well and that he was starting to get sus about her being like a college student or something, or like about to be a college freshman. Like he was just getting really sus and started DMing me like mid voice chat. And I basically just told him to fuck off because that's kind of the relationship we have. We have a lot of banter, so not in like a rude way, but...
So Akumu indicates to you the importance of certain screenshots. Don't you think, I don't know, maybe a screenshot of this interaction would have been useful? At least to showcase that the alleged friend was in a call with Slimmers and was suspicious of her? You gonna give us anything?
Yeah, I mean, he was there for it. He heard her say, like, isn't it crazy? Like, I don't know. She just seemed really excited and, like, fascinated with the internet and how you could do stuff like that. Just, like, reflecting. It's just really, like, creepy. And I think one of my friends even, like, they, like, showed me a screenshot that she started making her, like, social media dedicated to me with, like, highlights with my name. And, like, I was, like, on a plane and I saw it and I, like, got chills. I was like, ugh, weird. But yeah, is there any other questions?
Screenshots, woman! Are you allergic to that?
That's another thing. If her friends sent her this alleged screenshot, wouldn't she still have a record of it? Maybe she didn't save it at the time, but if they were texting or if they were on Discord, the screenshot would still exist in their chat log and it should be super easy to access.
Sure there is.
Actually. So
Cool.
about the phone number, did you know it was fake?
100% fake. Would you like me to elaborate on that?
Okay. So people are saying that 1 minute you doxed her, 1 minute it was attempting to dox. I know the number was fake because I saw the story.
I have no idea why Akumu is saying that it's all a story. What's all a story? Is it a story that the number was real? Because everyone I've been aware of had been pretty relieved in knowing that the number wasn't real. Is it a story that Slimmers claimed the number was real? I don't understand.
I believe it is trying to say that the consequences of the phone number being released isn't real.
I don't see how. It was a number that you could contact Slimmers at. It just happened to be a number she could disconnect very quickly when that harassment started. And that number being fake hasn't stopped people from harassing her.
As you can see on screenshots on top of screenshots we have of you, Akumu, sending hate towards Slimmers, saying you were going to punish her. Like, get a checkup, man, like you told everyone else who disagreed with you today. You are an extremely biased party. Maybe that's why Ash let you interview her.
Even in Nani's video, which was the first video made on the matter, Nani acknowledges that the phone number was from an app.
It was a really well-known fact since the beginning.
Yeah, sure, if someone made a video where they screwed up that part of the situation, fine, but shock of all shocks, Akumu is just as bad at giving examples and evidence as Ash is. Although, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, she did tell him not to mention anyone who made videos on her, so...
100%
Claire
fake.
even said it was fake. And
Yeah, it was 100%
so-
fake.
And yet, despite Ash claiming that she knew the number was fake and that she could elaborate on that, guess who doesn't do that?
She's basically doing
I would
nothing to...
Never, if it was a real number, I would never, ever dox someone. She has my real number. She could easily leak that, and I'm surprised she hasn't, because she's willing to, like, go to extremes and lie about me and, like, you know, fabricate a story that never happened and make, like, her social media about me. It's really creepy, but the fact she hasn't leaked my number, okay, cool. If I were to actually have leaked a real number, don't you think she would have done it back? I mean, if she's apparently 15, that's kind of how they behave. The way I saw it, and by the way, there is evidence that it's fake. I mean, I didn't know she said that. I don't check her social media because I, like, blocked her on Discord and then she blocked me on Instagram, which is, like, fine. I never really checked her page since. But shit, sorry, I need, like, a drink.
Well, we have seemed to caught Ash in another lie. Shocking. Ash didn't know the number was originally fake. I can agree that she maybe thought it was suspicious, sure, but she didn't know it was fake, because of her own wording while releasing the number. It states in one of her Snapchat stories, the one where she releases the phone number, she didn't know that the number was fake. She said, "So apparently this number is fake," which means she didn't know the number was fake to begin with. Her own wording gives her away again.
Gee, now I guess we know why Ash didn't explain why she knew the number was fake.
As well, she said she would never do that to a real number, but that is also a lie. She did it to a person before the Slimmer situation, whom she believed was harassing her. She also said things like, "Do you want this guy's address?" as well as driving to their house, taking a picture of it, and posting it on their Instagram story with a threat. She had threatened this person's life multiple times. No, Ash wouldn't do that, would she?
Now the question is, did Ash forget that she had publicly given out someone's phone number before, or was she hiding this little snippet from her past?
She just might have something else to hide.
Most fake numbers that
Where
I
are they
know
going
of,
with that?
probably they can't receive messages. They have to start it, then they can receive messages. So they
Mhm.
kind of have to start the chat. That's how
Yeah.
most that I've used have worked.
I believe she used a text-free number.
Should be taken into consideration, neither Akumu nor Ash have stated what the app that Slimmers used was, which means that they can't guarantee that the app works the same way as the ones Akumu is familiar with. This also makes a little less sense for Akumu to assume this, given that Slimmers gave the number to Ash with the option for Ash to start the conversation, not the other way around like he's stating it should have happened.
We, however, were able to ask Slimmers what the app was and how it worked. The app is called TalkTone, and according to Slimmers, you can receive texts and calls when using the number. It is not necessary the person using the number starts the conversation in order to receive those messages.
I kinda agree with Slimmers here. If Akumu isn't gonna bother doing some research on the topic, he probably shouldn't be speaking on something he has absolutely no knowledge of. At least do a little bit of research.
And the reason I decided to put it out there is because I was like, damn, this person not only lied after I gave them credit and was like really nice to them, but they're like asking people to like come for me, like
Yeah, I saw a
continuously. So I
screenshot
was
where
like,
she condoned it, and she said to go after you.
She did not. It could be interpreted as meaning that, but it could also be interpreted as not meaning that. Especially considering, at the time, Ash had attempted to dox Slimmers already and sent people to harass her. And the Instagram story in question stated that what Ash was doing was, quote-unquote, not allowed, potentially indicating that harassment was not okay as well. Actually, with that in mind, and now that I'm directly looking at the image, yeah, no. The question Slimmers is answering is, does it help to comment and pressure her to credit you, or would that make it worse? It was this course of action that Slimmers was responding to. What is being referred to here does not inherently mean harassment. Commenting and telling a person to give credit to the artist they are effectively stealing from is not harassment. I'm about 100% done with this claim.
yes, and which was why I decided not to work with her anymore. And I did everything I could to, I don't know how to articulate it, just like be a good person to work with, and I just was not receiving that back. And the reason I just didn't want to work with her is because she kept sending people after me, and then in the DMs acting like she I don't know, like she still wanted to
She's
work with me
innocent.
and she's sorry and she's like a saint, and it was really weird. And I was like the first time, which I guess I could provide like a screen recording for you, she was like sending people after me. It was like while we were cool. And I saw it, and so I DM'd her.
You're changing your story again.
Also, wow, Akumu, having your own bias show through there. You're a really bad interviewer. Ash tries to talk about how Slimmers acts like she still wants to work with her, and Akumu interrupts to infer that Slimmers is acting quote-unquote like she's innocent. Yeah, we can all see what angle you're approaching this from, my guy.
You originally said you worked things out with Slimmers and then got mad at her for someone posting a comment, which we had already proven. Now you're saying that she sent people after you and then you DM'd her. You're mixing up your story. And don't worry, I already have the screen recording.
Now granted, maybe Ash just mixed up her wording. She stated that she's hungover, so that's always a possibility. Too bad this wouldn't excuse basically anything else she's been saying as potential slips of the tongue. That would be a lot of slips of the tongue. I'd expect her to be tongue-tied by this point.
And I am still going to point out mistakes. She also chose to do this interview while hungover, which is her own fault. If I was trying to clear my name, I would try to go in with much as a clear head as possible so I don't screw myself over.
Yeah, but impulsivity.
Yeah, but editing and uploading the video.
True.
When
'Cause
she
she
vented
didn't
on her
approach
Instagram
me.
post.
Yeah, but she also sent her personal friends to come after me, or just like people, and
We have seen the Instagram story, Ash. It did not incite people to harass you.
Hell, Slimmers was even indicating that she was happy to be working with you. She just cited that she is yet to be credited, which is your own fault in the first place.
I was like, I DM'd her. I was like, you told me the thumbnail was adorable in the DMs like a couple hours ago. Why couldn't you have just DM'd me?
Yeah, funny thing about that. The thumbnail that Ash showed to Slimmers and claimed that Slimmers approved, that's not the thumbnail of the video that Slimmers' friend commented on. This was the thumbnail for the 50,000 subscriber special, which used Slimmers' fan art, which Ash did not get the go-ahead to use. At least not in any of the text we've seen. So even if Ash wanted to claim that Slimmers approved the thumbnail she showed her, she didn't approve the thumbnail for the video where the comments were actually left. That video used artwork that Ash had no right to use.
She's like, I'm so sorry, blah, 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 whatever. And then she did it again when I gave her credit, and she finally got it. And then she started like lying and saying she never got credit. And I sent her screenshots in our Discord DMs, like, yeah, like here's your credit for the about me, here's your credit for the thumbnail.
Yeah, that timeline is completely wrong. Ash claims that Slimmers did it again, except this was all incited by one post that was made by Slimmers before Ash and Slimmers sorted the issue out. It's just that after the issue was sorted, one of Slimmers' friends commented asking for the credit to be given, not knowing it had already been fixed on the other video, which is the one that Slimmers had commented on. The 50,000 subscribers special that Nightfish left a comment on still hadn't been corrected.
You can't blame someone for trying to defend one of their friends, especially if they think the problem is still ongoing. They didn't know the credit was fixed.
Well, half-fixed.
You could still blame them if they were being an asshole in their demands, but they were very respectful about it.
They even said please.
Which I didn't realize about that. Yeah, I gave her credit immediately. I thought I was supposed to give credit when I used the stills in a video. Like, that video was already made before I even got the stills. I just made the thumbnail right after when I did get the stills. And at the end of the day, it is my persona. I do feel entitled to use it since, like, it is my commission. But at the end of the day, I don't want to use it because the artist behind it's like a liar. It feels kind of gross. So definitely probably not going to use it. But in the moment, I did feel like it was fine. Like, they were my stills in the moment.
Yeah.
It was like something I was planning to use for a video.
Do they even have any idea what they are talking about?
Based on the video where Akumu confused intellectual artistic copyright for trademarks and patents? No.
I'm about to start gargling my own blood. Did they do any fucking research?
Nope.
Regarding you saying that you own the artwork because it's your persona, I'm going to show a fan art here. This was done by my friend Sky after my MatPad video. I asked her if I could use as my profile picture on my second channel, DarknessStone, which is my commentary channel. And no, it's not Scarf Daddy like Ponder may call it. Don't pay attention to her.
You can try to ignore me, but you would fail.
I know. But I used that fan art for my channel, and I got permission from the artist to do so. I never claimed I owned the artwork because it is fan art. If Sky told me to remove it, I would. She owns the rights to that artwork. I do not. I only own the rights to my character. But that doesn't mean if someone else draws the character, I suddenly own that specific piece. And that's certainly not the case if the piece was requested by the character copyright owner and then was not paid for. I even have her credited on my channel description. You seem to be confusing the willingness to use artwork in your argument. Ash, I just don't own all the fan art I get. That would be stealing. I would only own the artwork if I bought it from the person who made it and then followed through with the payment, which Ash never did with the Slimmer situation. You don't own fan art, you receive fan art. But if the artist asks you to take it down, you do, because you do not own it. You did not draw it or pay for it.
The reason we're bringing up fan art is because fan art in particular is a gray area. Technically, fan art is illegal as the person drawing the artwork generally does not own the copyright for the characters that they are drawing and therefore don't have permission nor the rights to distribute derivative works. However, that doesn't inherently mean that the copyright holder for that character now owns the fan creation. What they can do is file a DMCA claim to get the piece removed from wherever it's being shared. Or sue, that's always an option too, but probably not the best option in this case. Because the ability to share fan art is a privilege granted by the copyright owner to the fan artist. It's one of those, yeah, you can draw our character and we won't sue you, just don't give us any problems type of unspoken understandings. This is why Marvel Comics can't use a piece of fan art on the cover for one of their books. They might own the character, but they don't own the artwork. You can draw the copyrighted character, but you can't distribute or profit from the copyrighted character, which is why posting fan art online in general is a privilege. The copyright holder technically has to demonstrate how the existence of that fan creation impacts the sales, public perception, or popularity of their property. Anne Rice can't take down your fanfiction if you write it on the notebook under your bed. This is why, if someone takes an artist's fan creation and then tries to sell it, the artist has the right to sue them for the use of that piece. Just because Ash owns her character does not mean she has any legal right to use the artwork of her character drawn by another artist, especially not if it's a part of an unfinished trade deal that Ash herself initiated. Also because, you know, Ash directly used fan art without actually getting the permission to do so. Whoops.
Even if we're talking about the stills, Ash still does not own the artwork.
The stills were directly commissioned by Ash from Slammers, meaning that Ash gave Slammers direct permission to draw the character for the purpose of making those stills. That work was then something that Ash didn't pay for, which in this case is how the transaction for the commission would be completed. And therein, the intellectual property rights owned by Slammers were never actually passed to Ash.
TLDR, you don't own the fucking art.
They were my stills in the moment. You hadn't paid for them, and therein they were never your stills. Even if we go by your claim that the payment was supposed to be a shout-out in the J-Station interview, that means that the credit you gave in the description for about 5 hours wasn't even the full agreed-upon payment method.
And not only that, you intentionally tried to tarnish Slimmer's name, so now even if you credited, it would most likely be void. Slimmers could even deny credit as a form of payment at this point and refuse to give ownership of the stills to Ash regardless of credit ever being given.
Which, yeah, at this point, obviously the case.
It's not art theft. So
It's not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Shut up. Again, for anyone who hasn't seen my video with Nezzy Monster, Akumu effectively argues the semantics of terminology here. He tries to claim that it's not art theft because nothing tangible was stolen and the artist still has a copy of the work.
That's like saying, I can take a song and claim it as my own because the original artist has the song file. Have fun holding that up in court.
Yo, that was actually the same thing I presented to him in comments. Anyways, Akumu's reasoning for this makes no sense when you find out that he claims the proper terminology is credit theft, which isn't actually a term, and the real term he was trying to get across, which we found out by reading the comment section, was that it was plagiarism. Except plagiarism is also known as stealing, and stealing also refers to taking credit for someone else's work, i.e. credit theft, i.e. art theft. And even then, Akumu is kind of ignoring social context here. In this situation, people are very much aware of what the term art theft means within the community, that someone is using the artwork of another person that they have no legal right to use. Within his video, he flip-flopped a few times as to whether addressing the situation from a legal standpoint was necessary or not, and I can't believe I didn't think to point this out at the time, but if legal terminology isn't necessary, then referring to it as plagiarism isn't necessary when there's already a communal slang phrase being used that describes the situation and the community understands the meaning behind. That's like saying, you can't say that you got your block knocked off by your titties. The legal term is assault with a deadly weapon. Does this screen look like a courtroom to you?
All these squares make a circle, we're going around!
I would never steal someone's art. I used to be an artist on DeviantArt. I went by another alias, which I don't really want to get into that, but I know how this shit works.
Obviously not.
It's just I would never steal someone's art ever. But yeah, with that being said, the thumbnail, I didn't really know. She apologized to me in the DMs and said that she should have it says on 9/11/2019, I should have told you the thumbnail thing. I'm really sorry, Ash. And then I don't know, okay, Ash, I'm really sorry. I said I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a dick. I just wanted credit in the description. That's all. Blah 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 blah. And it's just I expressed to her. I thought that sorry, I'm really tired. I thought that the J-Station thing would be fine because that's what we always talked about in calls. So I didn't really realize that even for thumbnails I had to credit her. So when I found that out, I did it immediately. I apologized. I made things right, and I did it within I don't know. I'd say under 10 hours.
Yeah,
it would have
provided
been
the two
done.
screenshots in your video, I think. I have
Yeah,
them.
and I didn't feel I don't know, putting out all Instagram and Discord DMs because it doesn't matter. But it's it's kind of reminding me of the Tati and James Charles things. Until you provide your personal conversations, you're just the bad guy.
Well, I'm willing to be the bad guy to uncover the truth.
You're also directly admitting here that you thought the stills were going to be paid for in the J-Station interview, meaning that you were trying to use them without paying for them. And again, the fan art.
Ponder, it's time.
Boy, if you don't think I've been quivering my tentacles in anticipation.
I thought you were quivering for a different reason. Now for quick context. When I find out new evidence or when I find something juicy, I laugh like an evil villain. You can ask Chaos55T, who was in calls with me when I did research for this project, and even Ponder knows about it. But once I saw what I'm about to tell you, which I found out while I was in a call with Ponder, I didn't laugh. I sinked into my chair and was just in awe. Ash sent porn of a pedophile to Slimmers!
Anybody who's been on my channel for more than a week probably knows why that's a problem.
Now for some context on the conversation. Slimmers claims that Ash said she was high while they were in the call together. Ash says she was planning to make a video about the guy who was known for pedo things, and sent Slimmers pictures of the guy, and Xtube and Pornhub links to the videos about the guy. And at this point, Slimmers said that she stated her age while she was in her first call with Ash. However, Ash objects to this, saying that the age was never stated. But if age was stated, Ash would be in some deep, deep shit. And if it wasn't, she may not get in legal charges, but it's still a terrifying thing.
Just think, if Ash hadn't attempted to direct targeted harassment at Slimmers and hadn't made that 3000 IQ artist video prompting people to then look further into the situation and find other things she had lied about, we probably wouldn't have felt the need to ask Slimmers for more of that Discord conversation, and we wouldn't have seen this. No wonder Ash wasn't willing to reveal that whole conversation. Actually, going back to Ash's original 3000 IQ video, if Slimmers had been trying to purposely cancel quote-unquote Ash, couldn't she have just said her age and then shown that Ash had sent her porn? I feel like that's way more likely to cancel someone.
The guy Ash brought up was called Cyber Wolfpup the Ringmaster, who I have no idea who this is. While in this conversation, she showed pictures of him in a mugshot, him with his furry head with a kid, an Instagram post of a picture with him in a fursuit crouching, then came the porn links, titles like Saba gets a severe punishment and I'm taken and owned by a dom-top dragon. There's also a profile for someone called Shadow Wolf Dark Dragon, but I'm not going to look that up because I've never been to a porn site and I'm not going to start now.
Oh, what sites I could show you.
Maybe I can make an exception. As well, they show him posting about how he's back home and him revealing himself where he challenges Markiplier to a Try Not to Laugh video. Then there's a Pornhub link to a furry Yip music video. Wow, Ash, for someone who tries to use furries as a slur, you're really posting a lot of furry shit.
Maybe she's projecting.
Maybe. She also sends a picture of him in his underwear with a jacket on and a lion head on. That's the end of the porn she sent. I was just gobsmacked. She did send one or two more videos on him, but they were not porn related.
Why? Why does it always come back to people sending porn to minors? Goddamn, Ash. At the very least, I hope you really were in the dark about Slimmers' age. I don't really believe it, but I can dream.
Ponder and I are in the same boat here. But with everything Ash was lied about, I find it hard to see the deniability. I won't concretely say that she knew because I can't know for sure. I'm sure someone can try to give her an out by saying she was high when she did it, but that is not an excuse.
Nope, you can still be prosecuted for that.
I can't say for certain about anything, Ash, but as a commentary YouTuber who keeps bringing up James Charles, shouldn't you be more aware of this? Plus, James Charles had accusations thrown at him, and he proved them wrong with receipts and proof. You haven't got any. The video where I got these screenshots from, I have no editing or anything. There was no other context to these links being sent. James had someone lie about him, but you can't say we're lying about you because we have unedited and clear proof.
I was gonna say that if it wasn't real, she could disprove it by showing the real chat, but come on, we all know that's never gonna happen, so why bother?
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like it was needed. I just wanted to say, hey, this is like a story time. Here's me giving credit, and then they lied about it. Kind of funny. 3000 IQ, am I right? Like, I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
She did first lie about the credit, so you're right there, definitely.
She literally did not. The interview with Slimmers and Nani's video even has Slimmers indicating that credit was given and then taken away.
Akumu, you are wrong again. She's not right. She's left. I mean wrong.
I thought at first it was YouTubers mucking up that point of the situation. Now it's that Slimmers told them wrong. Prove it. You even stated that when Slimmers explained the situation to James, she specified that credit was originally not given, then taken away. She explained that the credit situation had been fixed in her original callout post. In every instance I have seen of Slumers describing the situation, she has stipulated this. The only instance was the original Vent Instagram story, which was made before credit was given. So even then, she wouldn't have been lying about it because the whole not giving credit thing was literally still going on.
Yeah, she just wants attention. I mean, and that's why I would not like to think this, but I think she lies about a lot of stuff, and she's just constantly attention seeking.
I don't like to think this. Meanwhile, in every other place Ash has been referring to Slumers, oh yeah, by the way, she's a compulsive liar. You even edited over Slumers' name in your screenshots with shit like compulsive liar and furry, and that was in this video.
Also, pot, meat, kettle.
I mean, like, no victim of sexual assault goes, "Hi, nice to meet you. I really like your channel. By the way, I got raped in under 5 minutes." That's weird. I think she's just always been kind of an attention seeker.
Tell you that, but not her age.
Not what? I didn't hear you. You cut out.
Oh, it doesn't make much sense that she's willing to tell you that, but not her age. I mean, yeah, it's true, but why tell someone that? But not the age.
Less strange when you consider that Ash has openly referred to herself on her YouTube channel as a victim of sexual assault, including within the 3000 IQ video where Ash claims Slumers probably lied about their experience, and Slumers claims to have been a fan of Ash, thus giving them a common ground to relate to or support one another on a personal level. And the fact that she's 15 and different people cope with traumatic experiences in different ways, and it's super dumb for you guys to be assuming that she would not reveal it for one arbitrary reason when Ash herself has revealed her own assault publicly on her YouTube channel to hundreds of strangers. Oh, but apparently it's weird for Slumers to reveal it to one person she idolized in private.
She also states that it was one of the first things stated to her, which I still highly doubt. Summers herself also said that her age was stated in the first call with Ash.
Definitely insinuated she was an adult.
That's not the fucking same as lying about her age. That's potentially a child trying to act older because she's talking to someone who is her senior and someone she looked up to. You ever had an instance when you were young where you tried to act more mature because you wanted to impress the older kids? That.
And I had friends, particularly Shriga, who is my admin, to confirm that because he was in a voice chat with, like, all of us. It was weird. He was the one that texted me, "This girl does not carry herself well." Like, it was weird. But yeah, she lied about having a number and completely avoided that when I confronted her about it. I mean, it's just an overall weird.
Because that would help a lot.
Sure. Let me just go in our DMs and type number. Thought you didn't have it. I found it.
Surprise to no one, this section of conversation she's about to read off are from screenshots that Slumers has already released to the public. Nothing new is actually being presented here. Akumu, I know you think of yourself as a smart boy, so you really should have been able to recognize that you asking for fresh screenshots only for Ash to give you cut-up versions of the same screenshots we've already seen. It's kind of really fucking stupid.
His avatar is Light from Death Note, and Light made a lot of stupid mistakes in the show and manga, so should we be surprised?
Alright. Let's see. Also, since you're busy, I don't know when the vids will come out, so I slowed down. And I'm also active in my messenger platform. Oh, by the way, people are complaining that I was upset that it took 2 weeks for the stills, when that is actually not true. She was making a bunch of art during that time frame and was posting brand new art. And I was just like, oh, is mine just not, like, prioritized? I thought it was a commission. And people are trying to say I'm uneducated about art, and a commission doesn't work that way. You have to pay for a commission. But there is evidence of us discussing about payment when she gets her PayPal. And I was planning on, like, talking to my agent, which is on Fanfiber, and seeing if she could get a cut. And if she couldn't, for whatever reason, I would just kind of just, like, PayPal her or something. Like, so there was payment involved with this art, and people fail to realize that it was pretty much happening.
First off, artists don't eat and breathe commissions. Sometimes they need to draw for themselves. You think because you said you were going to pay her, that means she had to focus solely on that and can't do anything else? That attitude disgusts me.
I expect you to do this thing for me without a set due date and knowing that I'm not paying you for it, but I'm not required to give updates on a matter I made public and publicly crowdfunded for. Jesus! Didn't know this was gonna be so much of an r/choosing beggars thing.
Now seriously, artists can do other things than just commissioned work. It helps them de-stress and helps them with burnout. I have only been commissioned twice, but I still needed to take breaks. I can't imagine what big artists like Ponder and Chaos have to go through to make sure they don't turn into calamari and charcoal respectively. Plus, I myself don't count it as a commission. I count it as theft because Ash took away the payments from Slimmers.
I know I've stated here and in my own video that a due date hadn't been given to Slimmers, but now that I've seen the full Discord conversation, I can see that there was a due date given 2 days before. Ash originally commissioned Slimmers on the 26th of August. During this time, there is no mention of a due date. In fact, in multiple instances, Ash either interrupts Slimmers potentially working on the stills, or she specifies that Slimmers can take more time if needed. Yet at the same time, on the 7th of September, she says that she'd like the stills to be done by the 9th if possible. 2 motherfucking days before she needed them. That's when she gave Slimmers a due date. And then she's also saying, hey, wanna play games with me instead of working on the stills I need done in 2 days?
Now I'll give the Slimmers, she pulled it off like a fucking boss. She got the stills done, there were a lot of them, all in good quality. I'm jealous.
Except Ash wasn't even online to accept the stills on the 9th. She had to accept them on the 10th.
Maybe she was high again. That seems to be her main excuse anytime she does something bad.
Oh, Slimmers was unprofessional. Slimmers was unprofessional. You mean to tell me you didn't tell Slimmers when you needed the stills until 2 days before you needed them? She got them to you in time. You weren't there to accept them, and you still bitch about the stills taking too long and that being unprofessional? Oh, but she was doing other art in the meantime. Yeah, and you were inciting her to play video games with you. Why is it okay for her to take time away from working on the stills to entertain you, but not herself? On top of that, you weren't fucking paying her and hadn't told her that there was a due date for the stills. I don't give a shit about, oh, but I was planning on paying her. You shouldn't expect people to work for planned payment, especially when you apparently hadn't even told her that was the plan. That was never mentioned in the Discord combo with Slimmers until she pissed you off, and you needed something to hold above her head.
That seems pretty unfucking professional to me.
So, anyways, I just searched up number. Okay, just curious, I'll give you my number so you can call me randomly or whatever. This is at 9/06/2019. I said at 9:07 because I'm late. I always respond like a day late. I thought you didn't have a phone. I spelled it wrong though. Also, when can the stills get done? I have some cool stuff to work on, no rush. So I can just screenshot that real quick.
I find it hilarious that Ash trails off right as she's repeating the phrase, no rush. Almost like you were giving mixed signals as to when the stills needed to be done. 1 minute you need them fast, and the next, oh no rush, wanna play video games?
This was after
Yeah.
like searching it.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Did you hear me by chance?
Yeah, about the screenshot and the phone number part, yeah. Explaining the phone
There you
number.
And right
yeah.
after that, she completely ignored the question, which I can show again. Let me just jump to the conversation. Like, it was just weird that she ignored it, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Why are you so hyper-focused on Slimmers not answering that specific question as though it means she was lying or plotting something nefarious? People miss or overlook questions in conversations all the time, especially if the person isn't online at the time the question is posted.
And why focus on that in particular when the message right after had to do with the stills and that question also wasn't answered? In fact, Slimmers didn't respond beyond that point at all until the next day.
Considering it was 11:23 and an hour and a half since she'd last messaged you, she probably went to bed. Oh, it's so suspicious she doesn't answer me. It's not like someone could have other things to do, like sleeping.
Man, I would love to message back people in my sleep that would fix all my problems. Return email.
And when the next day rolled around, you didn't bring up the question again. In fact, you moved on to a different topic of conversation before returning to ask for the phone number. So why would she answer the question from last night if it's now morning and you're not only talking about something else, but also asking a new question?
But Ponder, we can expect her to think straight when she's high on Adderall. No, that's not an excuse. Just like it's not an excuse when it comes to sending someone porn of a pedophile.
Yeah, I can definitely see your point there. I do have like 2 more questions actually, if that's okay.
Sure. Let me just send you another screenshot to prove that she just completely ignored that question.
Yeah, she did. All right,
It was
thank you.
weird because when we first started talking, it was our very first phone call, by the way. And she was surprised when I was happy to give her my number. She's like, "Wow, do you just like give it out like that? Like, or did you just trust me, or like what was that about?" And she just asked questions. questions about it. And I was like, oh, I just think you're really chill. Like, I don't usually give my number out, but you seem really cool and I'd like to work with you. So giving you my number is probably like the best option here since my DMs are flooded. And she was like, oh, okay, cool, but I don't have a number. And so I was like, oh, and then suddenly out of nowhere, she has a number. It was really weird.
I found it funny how she cannot connect the dots here. I will give an example. Okay, if I use you as an example, Ponder.
Sure.
Before this collab, I was a huge fan of Ponder. Hell, I still am. She then messaged me when she found I had information on the situation through a friend of ours. If Ponder wanted to talk to me through calling and I didn't have a number, I would find a way to have a number. When you look up to someone, you want them to be happy with you. You don't want to disappoint them. It's kind of like a power dynamic. I could see why Slimmers used a fake number, to make sure she kept Ash happy.
Here Ash is indicating that when talking to Slimmers, she gave Slimmers a reason to get a number to call her in the first place. She told Slimmers that it was an easier way to get into contact with her, thus giving a reason for Slimmers to turn to a free calling and texting app, which you claimed as being so weird, as though you didn't already indicate to her that it was the best means of contacting you.
Something else to consider, Ash said that she doesn't often give out her phone number but did so with Slimmers because she thought Slimmers was a cool person. Not only hinting directly to Slimmers that Ash already considered the two of them to be on friendly terms, something that Slimmers was mocked for believing, but also inviting Slimmers into that exclusive friend group and demonstrating a level of trust. And all Slimmers needed to accept this invitation was a phone number. Of course she's going to get a phone number.
Another thing I'd like to point out real quick, Ash claimed in her Instagram story indicating that she was going to leak the number of Slimmers, that when she asked Slimmers about the number, Slimmers quickly changed the topic to avoid the question, which didn't happen. Slimmers didn't actually answer until the next day when Ash messaged her first with a new topic of conversation. So Slimmers never changed the subject like Ash is claiming she did to avoid the question. Ash was the one who changed the subject.
That's another lie to add to the pile, I guess.
And yeah, I don't know. I mean, if she sent people after me, and I knew it was fake, by the way, I 100% made sure it was, because if you were to use another text-free number and text it, it would say fail. It's obviously fake.
Yeah, I wonder if you know that because the first person who tried to contact Slimmers told you that. What was your indication that the number was fake before that point? When you were texting and calling it, that number would have been active and you wouldn't have gotten that fail message. So the fact that when it's deactivated, you can no longer contact it, doesn't mean that before it was deactivated, you would have known that it was from a calling app. So how did you know? Answer, you didn't. And it's obvious both from your original Instagram story leaking the number and from this explanation that this is the case.
But it's just like, I don't know, I like to play fair is fair. That's just kind of the person I am. It's, it's debatable. A lot of people can criticize me for that. I really don't care. I've always played by like the fair is fair motto. That's just me.
What was fair about you leaking a number that people could contact Slimmers at? She didn't leak your number, something you've indicated you're surprised she didn't do because she does have it. In what world is that fair is fair?
But yeah, I do think being on YouTube is definitely a learning process though. Like maybe I should not play fair is fair anymore in the future. I think that, I don't know, maybe I could have a larger impact than what I expected.
I'm not entirely sure this was the impact she expected to have.
Although if she wanted to be a Leafy clone, it's probably at least on par.
I don't think anyone was able to successfully like text her though. It's obviously a fake number and I knew that.
Curious that Ash is bringing this up now, considering not only would she have been aware that this was a way of contacting the Slimmers, as she's admitted they did have phone calls together, but people have criticized her on her involvement in directing targeted harassment at a minor.
It's almost like she's trying to cover herself by making the claim it was entirely fake from the get-go, and she was aware of this, meaning that the harassment couldn't have happened.
Which is odd because that would have been mentioned in the videos done on Ash, which she claimed she hadn't watched.
But still, just for like the future, I'll definitely be more mindful. But that's all I really have to say in regards to that. She just, so many lies. Sexual assault, number, age, occupation. It's just weird.
The sexual
And then
assault,
obviously
I could
she
definitely
lied
see
about.
how she lied about, but actually it does turn out that the sexual assault was, it's technically confirmed, but it's not confirmed if it happened. It's so
Just
far been
like
a story that's been confirmed as a court case.
Okay.
So, and I'm not saying that I'm going to doubt her, but I am going to
From my
say that I'm also
perspective,
skeptical about all this.
What? How? You just said you wouldn't doubt her! You even asked her on Twitter about that information!
Additionally, Akumu has not asked Ash to prove her sexual assault to the same degree he's demanded proof from Slumers, which is a problem because Slumers not only did not want to make the assault public, that choice was stripped from her by Ash. Ash is also using the assault to dictate how victims of assault act. Akumu talked in his own video about how people are treating Slummers differently, likely because of the assault. But here, he is needing evidence of Slummers' experience when she didn't even want to make it public, and not questioning Ash, who made hers public of her own volition. He's clearly treating Ash differently than he is Slummers.
I even said in my own video, since Slimmers had to prove hers, Ash should have to prove hers to hold an argument. Because based on her track record, she could be lying. Like she was claiming that Slimmers was doing. Ash, you have no right to dictate whether Slimmer's sexual assault happened or how bad it was. Every assault is different. You could have had a different experience from Slimmers. Hers could have been a hell of a lot worse or a hell of a lot easier to deal with than yours. You have no idea. How could you dictate how she will act based on your biased guidelines on how a sexual assault victim will act?
Also, can I just point out that Ash is claiming that Slimmers lied about her occupation? What? What are you even talking about? Slimmers even having an occupation has never been brought up before.
And according to Slimmers, it was never brought up between the two of you. We have the full Discord conversation between Slimmers and Ash, and it's not in there either.
So either it happened in a call, at which point you can't prove that it happened, we have no reason to believe you, or it didn't happen at all.
She also can't prove that Slimmers lied about her age herself. We also know Slimmers' age for a fact, because she posted her age 2 years ago on an online post. She stated in the post that she was 13, and the post was made 2 years ago, almost 3 now. So it'd be common math to think that she was 15 at this point, maybe 16 at the latest because birthdays are weird. She also stated this before the whole Ash situation. Hell, it was before Slimmers even knew Ash existed. So unless she can prove that she was lying when she had no reason to lie in the first place.
Which seems unlikely considering Ash's whole original thing was this person lied about their age so they could cancel me.
We can know she is not lying about her age. Ash is again lying out of her ass.
I mean, it's one thing if you have a conversation with someone and 30 minutes in they're telling you personal stories and they kind of bring it up. Like that can happen sometimes. And as someone that has been assaulted, I know how that is. Like, you're opening up to a friend and the topic kind of happens. But it was right when we were greeting each other. It was strange.
Except we only have your word to go by that it happened within the first 5 minutes. You give leeway for it happening in a half hour if talking with friends, and you claimed in your 3000 IQ video that Slimmers wanted to be your friend and got close very quickly. So doesn't it make more sense that she would confess this to you if she did think the two of you were friends?
Plus, there's a power difference. You are someone that Slimmers said that she was a fan of, meaning you're like a discount celebrity to her. I mean, you have the ego of one, but eh. On top of that, you talk about your own life in your storytime videos. So of course she's going to feel more attached to you and more comfortable with you. According to Slimmers, that was even the basis for her talking to you in the first place about her sexual assault experience. Because you had already shared yours in a video. How would you feel if someone you felt like you could trust and someone you looked up to released personal and private information about you? You would feel fucking awful. Yet Ash has done this without thinking of Slimmers' feelings or the effect of her secret becoming public could have on her.
It was like an instant cry for like attention.
Can't imagine someone who might know a thing or two about cries for attention.
And I didn't think that in the moment, because when you hear, by the way, I was raped, you want to have empathy like immediately. It's just like an awkward thing.
Yeah.
But now that I'm reflecting after she just started like lying about me, I was like, oh, that was really weird.
You know what else is weird? All the other shit you pulled in the conversation, like sending Fortnite to Hago faces. You don't really have room to talk based on your own behavior.
Yeah.
All of this really could have been avoided if she didn't vent about it on Instagram.
I'm sorry, I like to joke
this
about
as a
it.
commission, but
It could have been avoided how? You like cut out for me.
all of it really could have been avoided if she just didn't vent about it on Instagram, because then that wouldn't have sent people your way, and she would probably still have credit by now. But
sorry, it's 3 a.m., but originally I agreed with him on this point until I remembered that whenever Ash gets into a tiff and someone disagrees with her, she removes their credit. So if Slimmers pissed off Ash at any point in this year, her credit still would have been removed.
Yeah, a lot of people are like mad at me for removing it because she's a liar, and they're like, well, it doesn't fucking matter. She could fucking kill your entire family. That's her art credit. And it's just like, no, she has no respect for me. And I had to be like, I hate using the word professional, but that's like literally what it is.
Yeah.
Pay attention, this is a secret tool we'll use later.
I'm also not entirely sure why Ash is claiming that Slimmers had no respect. When everything went down, Slimmers tried to apologize. I feel like that's at least a sign of a little respect. Or at the very least, an indicator that someone feels bad about their actions and wants to make up for it.
Yeah.
Because if you work with someone, you're gonna want to be friendly. And
I love the little slip of the tongue with her saying you have to be friendly and then correcting herself. I know it doesn't mean much, but it makes me chuckle.
and do things efficiently and properly, and I guess I could use proper more. And when I saw that, I immediately went to her DMs instead of, being petty, or I wasn't playing fair is fair just yet. I could have just went to her comment section, and just communicated with her that way and be like, I hate when people like post fucking Instagram stories or public YouTube comments instead of DMing me. Like, I could have been petty, but I didn't. I just DM'd her and I was like, hey.
You could have, because we have seen you do that kind of shit before. Remember what happened to OMGIJ252?
Yeah, you made fun of him for his recently deceased friend because you held a grudge for a comment from 3 months ago where he made a joke about a rapper you liked but didn't know personally, having passed away half a year ago, something that he already indicated remorse for having done on his Instagram.
Ash, you are leaving yourself so open you're like a McDonald's. You claim she's being petty, but you're doing the same shit. Glass houses, that's all I'm saying.
Hey, what's
But
this
she also
about?
had your private phone number
What
at
can
the
I do to
time.
make things right? She does, yes.
Okay, so if you can, obviously blur out your phone number, but if you can provide evidence of that, like a
Provided it through a
screenshot
phone
of a
call.
conversation. Home phone?
Fortunately, I provided my number through a phone call. Yes, it was or not phone call. Sorry, I said phone call because I was on my Discord mobile. I mean like a Discord call.
All right.
Again, so Slimmers can't make the claim that she told Ash things in a Discord call because she needs evidence, but Ash can. Okay.
And if we believe anything you say from a call, then we need to also believe Slimmers, which means that she told you about her age when she first met you, which means the police cars are coming for that pedophile porn you sent a minor. So don't overplay your hand.
I'm surprised she hasn't deleted any message. Maybe she has, I didn't notice. Interesting.
Why would she need to? Slimmers has done nothing wrong throughout this entire conversation, and you haven't said that she's done anything wrong within the text conversation that indicates that she's deleted anything nefarious. Everything you've claimed she's done that you can't prove was in voice calls.
You, on the other hand, would have a shit ton of reasons to delete messages, but luckily for us, you didn't.
I feel like Ash was just bringing this up at this point as a backup means of defense. Oh, but guys, she totally did delete messages. I just remembered. Despite the fact that I have also made note that I have a shitty memory and remember things better the more recent they are, not the farther away they get. I'm stating it now. If it happens, I already called it.
But yeah, I really don't fuck with liars. I just could not work with her. It's just strange.
So my question is if you are going to use the stills, would you ever credit her if she confessed up to lying on her end?
No. I'm in this weird, how do I put this?
I can understand why you wouldn't. I
Contradictment
was just
or
curious, 'cause
fuck.
people wanna know.
I can't talk right now because I'm hungover and I sound really retarded. No, I'm contradicting myself in my head. It makes me sound mental, but it's just a part of me is saying, well, that's not only my persona, but my stills. But on top of that, even if it was supposed to be my commission or it is my commission, why should I have respect for someone that has no respect for me and just publicly lies about me? I should have zero respect back for them. So therefore, these are my stills and I should use. But the other part of me is saying, well, they're also a liar and I don't want to promote a liar's art, and part of me just doesn't want to use them. So I'm kind of in the middle, if you get what I'm trying to say.
I love how Akumi's saying she confessed to lying. Oh, Akumu, you entertain me, you doll. That wouldn't happen because Slimmers didn't lie. And Ash has no proof that she did. Also, Ash, those aren't your stills. You took away the payment from them. She didn't lie, so she deserves her credit. That's like taking away someone's car and saying, if you want your car, you shouldn't have paid your car insurance.
Because Slimmers had zero respect for me, I'm entitled to these stills. Not because she gave anything to deserve them, no, because the artist disrespected her, and therein she's entitled to the work. I really like Hungover Ash. She reveals so much about her psyche. It's fascinating in a gross sort of way.
I have zero respect for the garbage fire that is Onision, but I still contacted him to get his wording on the matter, and I told people I did. It doesn't matter if you hate the person. If you use something like that, you need the credit and to get each side of the story.
She even ignores the respect and praise given to her during the entire discussion. She's only focusing on the thing that threw a wedge between them. She never showed you respect. So when you first contacted her and told you that you liked her art, she disrespected you? Then why'd you offer to commission her? She continues to disrespect you? Why'd you give her your Discord? She was disrespectful on Discord? Why'd you have the calls with her? She was disrespectful in the calls? Why did you apparently plan to get her more work? Ash keeps repeating that Slimmers never offered her any level of respect, but if that was the case, why would their interactions have even gone on as far as they did in the first place? To the point where, remember, Ash claimed this in her 3000 IQ artist video. She said that she'd been making plans to have the artist work with her merch company and continue working with her. Why would she do that if she had never been respectful?
Sounds like Ash is blowing one thing up and acting like that one disrespectful action encompassed their entire relationship.
I can
And
understand that.
I'm conflicted. But hypothetically speaking, if I were to use these stills, I would not credit her simply because of the fact I was very proper with her, very professional, and all they did was disrespect me and lie constantly and lie about me as a person.
I'm very respectful even though I have to clarify when I'm not being aggressive and say things like, "You were nice at first. Yes, I'm amazing and uber professional."
And just because of that, I'm not going to respect someone and give them credit when they don't respect me at all. And they did get credit.
Oh my god, they did get credit.
People like to tell me, it doesn't matter, she could kill your entire fucking family, but that's her art credit. But no one's telling her, maybe if you wanted to keep your credit, you shouldn't have lied.
That's kind of
See, when I was going through this video originally, I had to do a bit of a double take because that phrasing, almost word for word, exactly the same was what she said a couple minutes ago. Well, that doesn't fucking matter. She could fucking kill your entire family. That's her art credit. Kinda reminds me of exactly how repetitive Ash was in her original video on Slurs, which reminded me of something. One of the verbal indicators of a liar is someone who repeats elements of their story word for word. Repetition is a means of not only trying to convince the audience of the lie, but also the liar themselves.
For example, with words?
Repetition is also a means of buying time while they try to plan ahead or gather their thoughts. Is it entirely an indicator that Ash is lying? No, not entirely, but it's a potential warning sign that I feel needs to be considered, if only because of all of the other indicators throughout this entire debacle. And pointing it out alongside this example could help others to recognize these signs in other scenarios.
The whole situation can be summed up as Ash being a toy and pulling on a string, repeating the same quotes over and over again.
There's a fabrication on my Instagram.
Yeah,
Lied
that's kind of the purpose.
and made up a
of
story that
my
would
current
result in
video
a
that I have
YouTuber.
edited. That's kind of the purpose because everyone seems to be victimizing her side of the story, but then
She's a
when
liar.
it comes to you, they're promoting attacking you. So
I've had
and,
people
I
send
mean,
me
2 videos were
gore
just made
on
recently, but
Instagram.
when
Well, I've had people really attack me. I've had people
yeah, I
send
saw
me
your
gore
comment
and
sections.
images of child pornography in my DMs, and all I could do is report it, and I was really disturbed. And
Also
it's like
attacking me because I
images
So are we.
offended
that
you.
were on alts. Oh, I mean, it's the internet, like that. You know, you don't have to defend me or anything, or
It's not even really about defending you. If people are doing that, it's completely inappropriate. It doesn't matter the circumstances.
Yeah, nobody needs that garbage.
I may be mad at you, but I still have my moral code.
but people will
I-
harass you.
It wasn't more of like defending your actions, it was more like explaining why. And even then I still
Critical.
had people coming to me and attacking me in alts. I had like 9 people total, and then someone recently made a video on you named Wallace, I can't pronounce Delangelo.
I've never
I
seen a
can't-
video.
Oh boy, I'm about to laugh like I've never laughed before. Akumu states that he was getting attacked with alts on his social media, and honestly, I can't say I feel bad for him. He threatened to keep messing with Slimmers on Twitter, saying,
I have alts if need be, and alts are put in place because of blocking. It's to prevent such. You can block an account of mine, but you can't block me.
why is Akumu doing this to Slimmers if he can't handle people doing it to him? The hypocrisy and idiotic nature of this person confuses me. Not only that, he says,
No, Slimmers, you're an idiot.
Wah, don't be mean to me, but you're a bitch.
"Man, pop me, kettle."
You didn't start cancel culture, but you did send it after someone. A deed like that will not go unpunished. You are an imbecile, an artist with no actual intelligence.
Says the guy who mixed up copyright with trademarks and patents so he could claim that Slimmers didn't own her artwork.
You're delusional if you believe nothing will happen to you.
And when someone calls him out on his behavior, he says,
I will not be punished. I'll be glorified. The artist has done nothing to entirely inform, let alone stop these people that say to represent her, which is partially why this mess started in the first place. She is marked by sin. She must receive punishment.
I don't know about anyone else, but if I was in Slimmers' shoes, I would take that last phrase as a threat. Akumu, you are far from an unbiased party. He speaks with the ego of a god looking down upon mortal men, even though he's just a 16-year-old. Also, Akumu, if you kept on harassing Slimmers, she could have reported you to the police. You harassing another child would only be glorified by Ash because she is one of the only few people in this world who would agree with you. It's kinda sad how he needs to act this way to feel valid. This mess started when Ash could not credit. Also, Slimmers admitted she made a mistake with the comment in the Instagram story. And that's more than we could say about Ash.
Actually, now that we're kind of on this point again, I want to bring a few things up. Firstly, in the screenshot of Ash showcasing to Slimmers that she had fixed the credit, that screenshot was actually of her About Me page, not the description of the video. And on the About Me page, Slimmers is only credited for the banner, not the stills, which is what she was asking for credit for in this Discord conversation. Gee, Ash, why are you avoiding the request? Now, yes, the description of her My Biggest Hater video, which was the first video where she used the stills Slimmers actually drew for the commission, she did credit her for a short amount of time. However, the video that Nightfish commented on asking for Ash to give Slimmers credit was the 50,000 subscriber video, a video that Ash still had not credited Slimmers on, meaning that not only did she use fucking fan art, which she hadn't gotten permission to use and hadn't paid for the rights to use, not only did she make the claim it was a commission when it wasn't, and therein she didn't have to credit, this video still hadn't credited Slimmers for the art like she said she fucking would. So she hadn't even fixed the issue entirely. Someone pointed out that she didn't fix the fucking issue, and that's what freaked her out. Goddamn, child, just know when to fucking stop.
Stop, you have violated the law. Your stolen goods are now forfeit.
I've been traveling too goddamn much. I'm
That's
in Seattle right now.
But I was on Twitter, and
Okay.
he decided that he was going to lie and say that I was also doxing her, and that I was
I would-
targeting children. So
I
he
had
deleted the
her
tweet. I have
account,
evidence of it. He deleted the tweet,
whatever.
but I have evidence of it.
Yeah, can't imagine someone deleting tweets, Akumu.
I mean, I would never dox, so I knew the number was fake. All she had to do was delete her little text-free number. And I did it to prove a point. If you're gonna, like, send people after me, I could do the same.
Except Slimmers didn't send people after you. We've seen the Instagram screenshot. All it said was that Slimmers was working for you as an artist, hadn't gotten credit, but that she was still excited for the opportunity. Nothing in there said to go harass you. And the first comment left by Nightfish, the one you freaked out on, wasn't harassment. It was a mild little credit the artist that drew your thumbnail. She made a post on her Instagram, credit her. Even in getting this comment, we now know that you didn't credit her in the video that comment was on. So the comment was not wrong in telling you to credit her. This piece wasn't even a part of your deal with Slimmers. So yeah, by using her fan art, you did need to fucking credit her.
However, you'd have to be an idiot to think that would work. I did it as a joke because I thought it was humorous that the number was fake and that she's such a liar, this and that. Like, I just thought it was humorous. So I was like, ooh, look, text-free number, here you go. But, like, no one could obviously reach her that way. It would just be, like, invalid.
You thought it was a joke? You don't know it was fake until we proved it so. It was a joke to try to release someone else's info. It's so funny, right? Please laugh. You did it to get back at someone because they called you out on your bullshit. I mean, seriously, I know you're trying to cover your tracks, but you're doing it so poorly. You're just making more tracks.
Plus, someone did reach her that way. You reached her that way, meaning you were fully aware that it was a means of contacting her when you released it. What, did you unblock her for a second so you could say, oh, by the way, sending hate towards you, change your number, kisses?
Why do I feel like that's exactly how she would talk? Like, she would say LOL and FTW as word instead of abbreviations.
It's just like,
It wouldn't also give any personal information because it only would maybe, depending on the number, it would maybe tell her area code. That's it. But
it
she
didn't.
already leaked her own county, so
no problem doing that. I mean,
Okay, so there's one of two ways that Slimmers could have leaked her county. The first is with regards to Ash already leaking her state and Slimmers confirming it, at which point it was Ash's fault, and the other is her having to release screenshots of the court document to prove her assault, which was also Ash's fault for making it public without her permission and claiming she lied about it in the first place. So it's her fault for revealing her county when she's forced into it by Ash leaking shit about her and then claiming she's lying. Fuck off.
You basically left her no choice but to release the papers because she didn't want to get harassed because people thought she lied about her sexual assault. You're the one who put it out there, and then she had to defend herself. She did it to stop harassment that you directed at her. You're the root cause. And now Kumu is blaming her for it. What is wrong with you two?
Also, weren't you earlier going on about how it was so unfair that James Charles was forced to bring these private conversations forward, but now you get to blame Slimmers for doing the same thing when you were publicly making claims that she had lied about a sexual assault? Are you actually fucking kidding me?
it's just like I would never dox someone. It was humorous to me because like everything was fake about her, and I was just like, ha, another fake number. That's kind of funny. And if you're gonna send people after me, I'm probably gonna do the same. But I didn't do it in a sense that like everyone go to her YouTube channel or Instagram and do like she did with me, or like make up a lie and say like she fucking raped me and my family or some shit. Like I don't fucking. That sounds really melodramatic, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Ha! I would never dox someone. Ash's lies are starting to become funny to me now. She's basically saying her hindsight was the truth the whole time. That's not how shit works, honey.
Also, there's no way that you would have been able to tell that everything about Slimmers was fake at that point in the timeline. For one thing, as I had discovered in my co-op with Nezzy, the time frame for when Ash could have attempted to dox Slimmers was between 4:47 and 4:49 a.m. on September 12th.
Champion Mahina kept Slimmers updated on what Ash was doing on her own story, commenting on the call-out post every time Ash upped the game. Eventually this culminated in Ash saying that she was going to release the phone number, and then she did it.
We know that Slimmers' call-out about Madame was posted before the docs, which now gives us two scenarios, and neither of them are good for Ash. The first is that she was either told about this post by someone, since she admitted in her video on Slimmers that she was aware that Slimmers was claiming to be 15 and that Ash was 18 or 19, and that's why this behavior wasn't okay, or that she lied about not checking Slimmers' posts and saw it herself, at which point she would have been aware that Slimmers had publicly claimed to be 15 years old. This is the only public indication that anything Ash claims Slimmers said to her has been wrong. So it had to have been the inciting factor as to how Ash knew that Slimmers was claiming to be 15. And that's assuming we believe Ash's claim that she had originally been portraying herself as older.
Which means that Ash potentially knew about the post and knew about the claim that Slimmers was 15, and yet still went around leaking the number that she would have been aware was a direct line to a 15-year-old.
The other option is that Ash was unaware of the public claim that Slimmers had made at the time, saying that she was 15. But that means that there was no way for Ash to know that Slimmers had allegedly lied about her age or insinuated that she was older than 15.
So either she's lying, or she deliberately sent people to attack someone she, at the time, was told was a 15-year-old. So either she's a liar, which Ash herself condemns as being the worst thing ever, or she's disgusting for directing targeted harassment towards a 15-year-old.
So no matter which way you spin it, Ash's own recounting of the situation fucks her over.
Man, isn't logic fun?
I just thought it was humorous that the number was fake. That's pretty much it. Not a dox or anything. That's really fucked up. If anything, I would be an idiot to actually dox her. She has my number, you know? And I think she hasn't released it because she knows the number's fake. She just likes to play the victim card and get attention.
So you acknowledge that not only does Slimmers have purportedly the same or worse information on you, and hasn't leaked it yet, even if we believe your story about your knowing that the number was fake, what if Slimmers had leaked your number in retaliation?
Knowing Ash, she would change it without getting evidence, and then threaten to sue Slimmers for doxing her info. She has done similar shit before.
Either way, you were being an idiot. If the number's real and you leak it, Slimmers has a reason to leak yours. If the number is fake, Slimmers, whom you claim wanted to test out her cancel culture skills on you, has a means by which she can make you seem like you're in the wrong and justify her actions if she were to leak yours, or make herself look like the better person for not doing the same, which she is. If Slimmers actually wanted to do you harm, then by posting the number, even if it was fake, you were giving Slimmers a reason to retaliate, and this is according to your fair is fair logic. It doesn't matter which way you spin it, by posting it, whether it was real or not, you were kind of being an idiot. Well, only by your logic. By our logic, you were being an idiot for other reasons.
If Slimmers followed your rules, she would try to slander you for minuscule things, which she did nothing of the sort. You're shooting yourself in the foot. Oh hey, TP has a new friend.
The thing is about that, even though it is a phone number, it's not a personal phone number, it's a public app-based phone number, so it wouldn't even be a doxing.
But it was still a means by which people could directly contact Slimmers, and which Ash would have been aware was a means to contact Slimmers because she had done it, which is why it was still a targeted harassment campaign against a minor, and why it's still disgusting behavior, regardless as to whether or not it was a proper dox.
Even an attempted dox could still get you a fine or prison time, minor or not, if it was done with malicious intent, which it could be demonstrated Ash had with her wording on her Instagram post and her 3000 IQ artist video.
I swear to fucking God, if Akumu is just arguing semantics of terminology again.
It's okay, Ponder, we'll get through this. Chronix stupid can only last for so long.
All I'm saying is the incorrect legal definition use of a word doesn't mean that the community outrage of her actions are wrong, and to act like changing that word would suddenly make everyone less annoyed with Ash's actions is all kinds of dumb. Attempted dox or proper dox, it was her intention behind leaking a child's direct contact number that people have a problem with.
Nope, I have not doxed at all. And I know better too. Like, trust me, as a content creator, doxing sucks. I mean, it even recently happened to Blair White, and I love her, and it stresses me out when I see other creators get doxed, and that's something I wouldn't wish upon like my worst enemy.
Oh no, just a compulsive liar.
Morals always get pushed aside when alleged compulsive liars show up, am I right, guys?
The phone number thing was simply me just finding the text-free numbers humorous and finding her being fake humorous. That's really all it is. So
it's funny for you to deliberately leak a number that you know people can contact a minor from after you have publicly made note that this person has been spreading lies about you, has zero respect for you, and that they were a harasser. And this is before you were even aware of the stipulations behind the number, meaning that you had no way of knowing that Slimmers would have been able to change it that quickly. That's funny to you?
was that all your questions? Because I think after this, I'll probably be too busy traveling and like being with friends
If
and
it's
stuff to
okay,
even like.
I can ask more, and if you want, I can wait. It's up to
It's
you.
okay. My dinner's not ready yet, surprisingly. So, wow, that makes me sound like a
Alright.
diva.
Nah, just think it makes you sound irresponsible. And oh, we know how you treat your friends thanks to Repzion.
This boy did a whole ass video talking about how Ash was apparently such a little shithead in Washington. I won't go into specifics because most of it was testimony from that friend she was staying with, but man, kinda explains so much if all of that is true, you know?
Then, once the video was out, she claimed in a direct message with Repzion that Repzion exploited her as a child because he took a picture of her off of Facebook. Note, this picture was taken when she was 13 and was on a public Facebook profile. She even compared it to releasing pictures of Repzion's dead fucking grandpa. How in the flying wildebeest can you make that comparison and not feel like a terrible person? I'm gonna be real with you guys. That made me pretty damn upset.
Shh, it's okay, Babu. Do you need some chamomile tea? Fiend, go get the tea bags.
Thank you.
Don't thank me, you're gonna need the tea, because this was the only place I could think to insert the Wang.
Sorry, what?
As in Mr. Wang, the guy Ash was supposed to do a charity livestream with.
Oh, good. Now I need to clean up the tea I spilled. Sorry, Fiend. Here's a fish stick.
So you remember that artist we mentioned way back in the first video, Kells? Yeah, Wang was the guy who paid Kells in the midst of Ash constantly putting it off to the point of, according to Wang, Kells getting in trouble in her home life because they didn't have that money. Apparently, Wang has been trying to actively distance himself from Ash and any associations to her. Probably a smart move there, let's be real.
Now, this all started on my channel, in my Don't Donate to Princess Ash video, when I learned that she was doing a charity livestream with someone for the Australian wildfires. Remember those? The year has already gone by so fast. This person was Mr. Wang. He commented on my video stating how he was the one who was streaming and how he's now trying to distance himself. I wanted to talk to him and get his side of the story and maybe work with him. So I messaged him on Twitter.
Just to make sure we don't have any confusion, Mr. Wang did give proof on his Twitter that he donated the money to the charities he listed. So he did not take any money and did the right thing. Sorry, Stone, continue.
I got to be friends with him on Discord, which was an honor, and got him in a group chat with both me and Ponder. And thanks to him, we've got a lot of useful information.
Such as how Ash doxed one of her exes.
The amount of murderous intent that she showed kind of threw me off, like really bad. It cannot be good for either side's psyche to think like that or have someone thinking that way about you.
And looking at these Instagram posts, one might think, oh, but the guy's a stalker, so it's a little deserved. Yeah, how about that be proven first before we start just justifying doxing based on unsubstantiated claims, or really justifying it in general? Now, as we mentioned before, Ash has stated that she has borderline personality disorder, which affects her view of herself as well as how she can feel and relate to others. This could explain her extreme feelings towards her ex in this scenario, but it doesn't really change the impact that the other side is feeling. If Ash is having such extreme feelings and is not already seeing a doctor, then we would very much recommend doing so, or maybe attending borderline personality counseling if that's possible where she lives.
I know it may be hard at first, but therapy and counseling can really help a person. I promise. It's not something you should be ashamed of. Sometimes one form of therapy isn't the right one for you, and it may not work the first time, but don't give up. You'll find the right way you need. And when you do, you'll start to feel better.
And maybe then you won't be running into problems like asking other people to steal money to buy you an expensive and very much not needed purse.
Yeah, you usually want to avoid situations like that.
I'm sure many of you are looking at this video's runtime and thinking, oh well, I guess that's the end of the interview and Akumu didn't ask any more questions. Honeys, did I not say before this was a 4-parter?
So we're about to cross over the final hill. Don't worry. Come over back to my channel for the final part of this whole ordeal, and we'll go over the last half of the interview. We'll also delve further into the alleged lawsuit against Onision.
And I'll expand on a wee bit of a theory I came up with regarding this whole scam that everyone seems to think Ash has been pulling. Spoilers, it might be a scam, but potentially not for the same reasons you think it is.
Now it is time for the fan art feature.
This boy understands the rules.
First up, we'll take a gander at some Dapper Babes by XxLunaTheGhostx in their dapper outfits. Shiny buttons, a skull on a tray, and a message to behold. I get a very how may we be of service vibe, but like from anime girls. Dashing in to deal some art with criticism featuring Empty-Brooke by Pastamania53. Nobody escapes criticism. I'm not. You don't get it, winky face. Oh no. You're long past the point of running, my poor cross-hatching child. Now one might only hope that the solid black of your intense artistic shadows can stave away enough light for your escape. Was that too dark? I feel like that was too dark. Up for some cute octopus friend fun, here's Polip, Sotong, Ponder, and Fiend by artistwacky, wherein Polip and Sotong have lovely contrasting head colors. Look, it's like a best friend squad, an octopus for every cutie pie, 8 tentacle hands to hold! Sliding into frame, we have 4 portraits by Drakkoholic. I'll confess, I'm not entirely versed on all of the characters featured, but I do very much enjoy their portrayals regardless. With the soft lighting and line art, each portrait has a sort of calm and fluffy feel to it. Probably ready to make a Disney comparison, we have Come On Sugar, Don't Be Shy Gift by milkiiwilkii. I reckon you want a kiss? I don't know about you guys, but I think that art style is so heckin' cute. Although, the fact that it took me this long to clue in on that being a drama frog, I feel like, wait, does that mean that Sprocket turns drama into princes? Who's out here turning princes into dramatic amphibians? Gearing up for a fight, we have South vs. Norse by JawaDaGhostBoy, wherein, whoo, Ghost Boy, somebody is going to need a bigger gun. Seems we're also back to the dapper themes because that character in that outfit is adorable. Warm and snuggly to the touch, here's PonderKitten by KisaNeko. PonderSprocket has them big, strong arms for hugging and protecting of babs. That includes tiny furry babs. Such a sweet piece, makes me want to go and hug my doggo. For some more hugging, we have 2 Big Beauts by PrincessKingForever. Because big, beautiful, strong women in dresses that show off their arms is just Another one of those good things this world needs. Lucky for us, PrincessKingForever provides. Careening in to punch someone in the face, apparently. Here's a Christmas gift by manga artist 1108, wherein we have a splash of red characters with the names Junkie, Turkey Tom, LS Mark, and Manga Common. And then you've got Sprocket and Fiend's violet blue butt asses just chilling there like, hey, yo, why is it so accurate though? Everyone's so mad, but those tentacles just vibing. Because cephalopods need love too, it's Optimus Prime and Fiend by Otaku Zera. With some lovely pale blue highlights and cute blushing galore, we got a robot hugging an octopus and... it's just such a beautiful thing. For some perfectly pristine penultimate portraits, here's Creators That I Enjoy by Mocha Deer. There was absolutely no reason for that alliteration, I'm sorry. Mocha honey, you might ask, how do I fan art? But clearly the power lies within you because these are just lovely. Everybody looks so cute. And finally, we'll end off with Apothis with Sprocket by Plague Pancake. I think Fiend's kinda hungry. Gulp. This is taking the phrase so cute I could just eat you up to a whole other extreme. Fiend's coming to eat your line art and your expressions and, well, I guess your character too. That seems sort of implied. Point is, somebody's getting made into a pie. If you like any of these pieces, please don't hesitate to give the artist some love with the links I have provided down in the description. My links are also down there if you're so inclined. Thank you for tuning in, my cuties. Stay safe until next time. Octomama, out. Dogs outside. Stop. Stop. Was it Mocha? Rory? Guys, shut up. Stop!